America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Has everybody had a chance to look at the minutes from the September 20th meeting?
Yes. Yeah.
I'll second it.
Moved by Dan, seconded by Rose. Any questions? Questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Anybody want to be out of state between now and the 18th? Jim, do you want to give us an update, or Kevin? Whichever.
Start us out.
Good evening, my name is Jim Patterson-McDowell. Just kind of give you an update of where we are since the last meeting. You have before you a pay estimate number 14. In that pay estimate, there's going to be the items that are in it that are payable this time. We had an increase in the mobilization where we went from, once we got over 75% completion.
I'll quit quacking him and say, you're right. Sorry, Jim.
That's no problem. So anyway, it increased it from up to 90% of their bid items. So there was about $50,000 there. They completed the fill of areas B and C. They're being paid for a portion of the overflow ponds and the sludge ponds. In the building department, or the pump building and the headworks building, the roofs are being paid for. And then some electrical work in each one of those. And then there was a little over $100,000 in covers for the clarifiers for material and storage. Everything is going good. They're still proceeding. We've got quite a few different subcontractors out there right now. We've got the heating and cooling guy doing his tin work. The plumber's out there putting in some fixtures and running pipes and stuff. They're hanging the cement fiberboard inside the building. The perfect paper has not shown up yet, so the office side of it has just been roughed in. It's got sheetrocked and rough taped on it. They're in the process of doing the process plumbing and the pump building. They'll probably in another 2 weeks get all that piping completed in there. Right now, they're about 81% of money spent, and the work is about 87% for time. And I calculated that because we gave them an extra, or the change order for those 12 days. They'll change that completion date from the 28th to the 10th of December. And that is yet to be, Kevin.
And the suspend work over
December.
holidays last year.
Any questions?
No.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jim. Thanks, Jim. Melody?
I just had a citizen in my office today ask me how far over budget the sewer project was.
It's not.
Well, that's what I told them. I said I'd be at a council meeting tonight, and if I heard anything differently, I would let them know, but it's my understanding that even with the cost changes for the steel bins and the clarifier and the change in the sand drying beds, we're still right around in that ballpark of where we're supposed to be. Okay, good to know about that information.
So I just add a couple things here. I did get an updated schedule here just a little while ago. I asked Adam Williams to see what their projected completion is through the project, through startup, and they're showing end of November. Every schedule we've received, hasn't obviously come to fruition, so we'll see how that goes. That's the current schedule on paper for actual startup. So the have to have an allowance in there for some time for West Tech to come up and do the instrumentation and control. When the electrician's done, they come up and do the computer programming and all the trending and things that go along with that. So our main challenge right now with the contractor, as you're all aware, they have made a mistake on the project. They submerged 5 pumps in the pump building. The manufacturer has indicated to us that they cannot provide the required manufacturer's warranty for those pumps, knowing that they've been submerged. They've indicated that they will not even authorize a startup on those pumps, which is also a requirement of the contract for a manufacturer authorized representative to be there for the startup of that equipment. We've sent them 2 letters to date, specifically indicating that they cannot be accepted until the manufacturer is able to restore that warranty. Our understanding from the manufacturer is that they want those pumps back in their shop in Salt Lake before they can do what they need to do to provide that warranty and certification as new. I'm not aware of any other options at this point. I've ceased to discuss with the manufacturer, if you will, or be accused of interfering. As far as I'm concerned, I'm the engineer of record, and I will talk to them whenever I darn well please, especially considering this is the heart of your treatment plant, and they have to be functional, operational, and they should last many, many years with very little maintenance. The contractor has been working with some pump vendor, doing some sort of testing on them. I've specifically told them they can test until the cows come home, and we really don't care. This has got to come from the manufacturer. So we'll be talking with the city at this point, talking about what the options are or how we handle that. My concern is they are going to force those pumps on the city and expect us to accept them. And if we wait and we wait and we wait till startup, that's going to hold the whole project. So whatever action we decide as a group with the city how to proceed, I think it needs to happen pretty darn soon. So there needs to be some ultimatums on what they do with those pumps. And we need to work through the contract requirements because there are implications on how the city proceeds with the implications that are available and the recourse that is available in the contract. This is your project. They are hired to do it per the contract, and the city has a lot of control over how that proceeds. Your first #1 control is how they are paid. We opted not to recommend on this pay request withholding a payment at this point. That may become an issue, but again, I've talked to Jack, and we are getting outside of our council as the engineer, and we're entering into the legal counsel realm, and you need to have legal counsel involved in how those clauses and those available activities in the contract are implemented. So those are the discussions that will be going on over the next couple of weeks, and hopefully we just get this resolved. On our end, we can't even believe we're having a conversation. We've never had this kind of thing happen where a piece of equipment has obviously been affected. They're not intended to be submerged, and whatever testing they're trying to do on it is to give me zero comfort level in what's going on with that equipment. So we're just blown away that there's any resistance whatsoever to deal with. It's just a mistake on the project. We don't really know if insurance covers it, doesn't cover it, that's really their business, but the fact is the equipment needs to be correct. So that could very well hold up the show if that isn't handled. They are plumbing it now, and that doesn't mean that they, actually the pumps sit on a frame, and the motor and the pump are bolted to the frame. Just as a normal course of construction, you want to set the pump and plumb away from it. So they're in a process of doing that, which is fine, but so they can settle their plumbing and continue to go on the pump station, which would be the right approach, but that doesn't mean that the pumps still can't come out. There's bearings in the pumps and equipment in the motor that needs to be addressed. So as far as cost to date, we've got about 13 change order items from the beginning of the job to now. Some of them are deductive, some are additive. At this point, it's a negative number. I haven't been in a hurry to process it. We've just been keeping track of these things as they come up. And they're little things you expect. You know, hunk a handrail here, change a pipe fitting there. Pretty minor stuff to be 400 plus days into the contract and not have a true as far as we move toward the convergence of like 5 different disciplines all in the next 2 months. And hoping the weather holds up. So.
Has West Tech given you any idea how long they would need the pumps and how long that turnaround would be?
Well, what I've asked them to say, what exactly do you need to see before you show up? And what they want to see is, so the electrician terminates all the wires. You got what's called the SCADA panel, and that takes like all the signals from all the equipment into that panel and sends it back to the headworks where the main computer will be. So the electrician has to pull all those wires from the right devices, terminate them in the right spot. What West Tech wants to see is photographs that that's all been done, all the wires are labeled. They've done that checkout. So when they come and start loading the program up, and the wires are going the right direct place, everything's terminated, and we're not spending a week and a half debugging the electrician's work when they need to be dialing in, just fine tuning. And there's not a lot of process control in this plant, but there's a lot of input and output.
I'm talking if we have to send them the pumps.
West Tech's not providing these pumps. These are outside of their scope of supply. And I can't answer that question as far as how long that's gonna take.
Okay.
The vendor rep has said, I don't know how long that might take, you better get with it. Because my understanding is they take the pumps and they pull it apart and they bake it, or whatever, they dry it out. And then the pump bearings, they would need to check the bearings, they might be fine, put them back in, or get new ones. They're not a real special bearing. But there's time in there, you're right, to be right honest, Stuart, it does take time.
Okay.
I don't know what, month turnaround, 2-week turnaround.
Bottom line, this morning at 9 o'clock, Mike and I met with our city attorney. Went through the contract, listened, went through a bunch of emails with us. She's in the process of drafting a letter to Williams Construction that says the city will not accept those pumps until they are certified by the manufacturer with a warranty.
Okay.
If they're not done, we will not accept them. At that point in time, we'll probably end up in some litigation with them.
That is.
But 9 o'clock this morning, that's what we came up with.
Almost verbatim.
Pretty standard stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it's right there.
Mel, did you have a question?
So the pumps, as we speak right now, when you say they were submerged, they've actually been underwater? I mean, they're damaged? That's the concern? I'm sorry, you have to break it down for me.
Can I show you a before-after picture?
Sure. That's probably explaining, huh?
Can you show all of this stuff?
Yeah.
Show all of this stuff.
Yeah, I'll give
You
you
can
this.
show them first, I'll
You got that?
listen.
So, pump station before water. Yeah. It's pretty clear.
Oh, yeah.
There's nothing else supposed to be on the pictures.
So it's really no question.
So they're down in a vault like at Rigby, right?
Here they are.
Yeah, they're gonna walk downstairs in the
Okay.
building, yes.
There's some.
Now, was it just rainwater, or where did the water come from?
What happened is they were in the process of testing the oxidation ditch. We do a leak test on it. There was a valve that didn't get closed all the way, and the water from the oxidation ditch ran back into the pump building.
So it's sewage.
No,
No.
it was clean.
They were doing clean water, okay.
Relatively clean.
Well,
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew we had like an inch and a half of rain last week, but I didn't know if that was enough to do it.
Not 9 feet of water.
It's not plumbed in incorrectly, it's not plumbed in for there to be water there, there shouldn't have been water there, that's the problem. They didn't like read the schematic wrong and say, oh, these are supposed to be
No.
down in the water. Water got into the vault where, okay, all right, I'm understanding that. I just couldn't see how
They
you
were
could.
submerged. Thank you, Kevin, for adding that.
what, Rich?
Anybody else got any questions or comments they'd like to direct to Kevin or Jim? It's a really good time to do it.
I guess on the pay request, you're saying at this time we go ahead and pay them? Sorry to put you on the hot seat, Kevin, but,
That's coming up, we can go over that here.
Okay.
Just discuss
You're still holding 1.4, or there's still $1.4 million left to complete the contract.
Is there also something in the contract that states we can get that money back, that we pay towards Palm's 80% of it or something like that?
You just do it by not paying them.
Yeah, and we could technically withhold that, we're not.
Unless it exceeds that amount, then you'll have to go to court. But you guys have the prerogative to withhold payment on,
Yeah, there's just some implications to that the city needs to be fully aware of what those are, and that's where your city attorney needs to be
We wanna look
engaged.
at that very closely before we do that.
Okay.
Thank you, guys, appreciate it. Go into new business, and the first part of new business is a pay request number 14 for Williams Brothers Construction. Has everybody had a chance to look through there?
Yes.
And look at that information?
Yes. I will move that we pay request number 14 for Williams Brothers Construction.
Been moved by Stewart that we pay Williams Brothers, pay request, number 14. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Dan. Questions?
I think I've asked mine.
No.
Hearing no questions. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Second item on the agenda is approval vote to approve destruction of records per state retention schedule. Mary can explain that, because you would just believe me and I would probably be fine. So, Mary?
Just in a nutshell, the state mandates how long we have to keep certain records. They used to be the ones that we went to request destruction. Now they've put it on the cities for the normal everyday records, the claims, the process payments, and they have a retention of 5 years. Those 5 years are up, so I'm requesting that they be able to be destroyed.
Thank you.
I'll make a motion that we destroy the records that are older than 5 years.
I'll second.
Been moved by Jill, seconded by Rose. I'm sure there's some questions, because when I first became mayor, another first-term mayor from another town asked this question at a meeting. So I seen all these boxes back in my storage room, and my storage room was full, so I threw them out. And a bunch of people didn't think that they're kosher.
There
So
has
if you've
to
got
be-
questions of what we're throwing away, or what we're destroying, or what we're keeping, this is a really good time to ask.
There has to be retention set up. You have to inventory your records, which we do every year. And they're set with a destruction date. Items that are considered mandatory, you can't throw them away or in a totally separate spot. These are normal, everyday records that are recurring, that have no intrinsic value. It's not like a charter or minutes of meetings, which are deemed permanent records. These are just common, everyday records that have no value. And there is a list, and we go by that list. Whoever threw their records away made a big mistake.
Any other questions?
no.
Okay. If there are no other questions, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Also in your packet, you'll see a speed limit signs for the school. What this came out, I don't know if you have this right down there, I think you do, but I'm not sure.
I don't think so.
Okay. Keith Van Setten and city and the superintendent Chuck Gamion have been receiving a lot of complaints about people roaring through the school zone. One guy was tag 41 miles an hour over the speed limit down there. Keith found a grant that will cover part of the cost of flashing signs that will indicate your speed that you're going as you approach the school from both directions on 7th Avenue. The sheriff is going to pay $4,000 of those signs. The city and the school are would like to split the cost between themselves at $3,320 for the remaining of the cost. So our cost would be a split of $3,320 with the school. Keith's feeling and ours.
$3,320 each, or
$3,320. Total would be $7,320.
So they'd be responsible for 16, 17.
Say about $1,700 would be our split. What we're hoping is people will see these signs and realize they're in a speed zone and to look out for kids. We're hoping these signs don't register like in the triple digits, so we don't have somebody see if they'll actually register that high.
most of them you see go up to 99.
So we're hoping that isn't the case. We're hoping we can put a limit on it that's just way too fast or something. But it's one way it's a active passive way of trying to get people's attention and prevent a tragedy up there. So that's my explanation as best I can give you.
So who would install them then? Is the city crew responsible for that?
That's what we discussed, was that we put up the posts and put them up, and then they bring them over.
And then are they just solar powered? And
Yes.
so there's no wiring underground or anything like that?
That was supposed to be solar powered.
Okay.
And so it's not the mobile kind, it's a,
No, they're permanent. They'll be mounted permanently there. Could I have a motion?
did anybody look into mobile ones?
I do not know.
I mean, I just thought we needed to use them somewhere else.
My concern with the mobile ones is that they would go away. That somebody would abscond with them.
The mobile ones were looked into at twice the cost.
Oh.
Oh.
For various reasons, because they're mobile and they can go so fast.
Okay,
I move that we proceed with the signs for the school.
I'll second.
Moved by Dan and seconded by Jill. Is there further discussion?
It's a good idea.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Our reports, Park and Rec, we have none. Public Works Director, Mike.
Claims.
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 Oh, claims, I'm sorry. Everybody had a chance to look at the claims?
Yep.
Yes,
Would somebody make a motion?
I will make a motion to pay the claims.
Moved by Jill, seconded by Rob.
Yeah.
Are there questions on the claims? Questions on the claims?
No.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Now, Park and Rec Department, we have none. Mike took the time to make a nice report out. Mike?
Let's see, we're about done patching potholes. We managed to burn up all the material in the oil and chip patcher. We're about ready to use up all the cold mix in the cold mix patcher. Now we're gonna bring it in the shop and try to go through it this winter. It's pretty wore out. Last Friday, I finally got the DEQ open cut mining permit finished with all their supporting documents and everything, and I haven't heard anything back on it yet, so I'm hoping that's a good sign. We finished up that street by Jill's house, got the last two driveways finished up, and it's holding up well with all the moisture, so that's good. Got one guy up to the gravel pit right now. We're trying to just tidy it up in the event that DEQ comes back for another inspection of the gravel pit. There's a lot of just random piles of material up there. We're trying to consolidate, trying to get everything smoothed out. We've got some steep areas we're trying to decrease the slope on, to get them within compliance. And BJ has been using the water audit program, and in September, we saw a pretty good decrease in water use, just from lack of irrigation probably. It looks like we're down to about 6% water loss, which is pretty darn good. I think it might actually be a little bit higher than that, just because we had we sold, I think, 52,000 gallons to Dick Anderson. I think it got factored in all in 1 month instead of over 2 or 3 months. So it might actually be a little bit higher than that, but still pretty good. We spent some time last week working on the alleys. The rainstorms have got them pretty well broken up again, and that's going good. The gravel we bought for it's working out really well. Spent 3 days last week in Bozeman at the water conference. I learned a lot down there, and got a tour of the Bozeman plant. That was pretty interesting. So we spent a fair amount of time tending to issues with the construction project out there. We're keep plugging away on our city shop, we call it the capital improvement project, but I'm not sure it's very capital. We're working mainly on the Quonset storage building down by the waterworks right now, and we're hoping to get it finished up in the next couple days. We are getting ready to start the leaf pickup. We got the leaf back all serviced. It gets pretty beat up by the rocks that we suck up out of the street, so we're gonna try to publish an advertisement in Decanton next week and encourage people to not put their leaves in the street. It'll help us pick them up so they won't get waterlogged, and we'll hopefully have less damage to the vacuum. And we also.
So keep them on the boulevard, like.
Yeah, keep them on the boulevard strip next to the curb, or up to the sidewalk if it's a sidewalk and a curb, or just at the edge of the street. I made some graphics. I'm gonna go on Mel and see if we can't. We're having a sociology experiment, see if we can educate the public. I decided today, we were gearing up to hire another short-term employee for leaf pickup. Given that we're winding down with the pothole patching, we don't really wanna buy more material and then have it not use it because of weather and have it go bad over the winter. And we've got the sewer system completely flushed out. It seemed pretty logical that we didn't need to hire somebody, to help Greg with the leaf pickup. We'll just shuffle a crew member in and out, and get it done without having to hire somebody. And I think that's about it. Oh, I don't know if I told you guys about the valve exerciser we ordered for the, water department. It'll be here next week, so we're gonna start putting it to work. I just got an email on it. And just the normal stuff, water, garbage, going down trees, all that good stuff.
I like that super paper gravel.
In the
Looks
alley.
nice.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
great. Yeah, and I was kinda curious to see if it would get real muddy, and it's
It's
not
not-
too bad, I mean, it's.
And then as it gets more and more moisture on it, I think it'll set up even harder. Where we've had it for a longer period of time, it sets up really well. At first, it's a little sticky, so.
It's
We're gonna
smelly
keep
right
dumping
now.
that out, cause the alleys are pretty rough right now.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Anybody else got some questions for Mike? No? Thank you, Mike.
You bet.
Jody is gone to the finance officers meeting in League of Cities and Towns. She's been working her really hard to get our interest rate on our sewer loan dropped. In the past month and a half, with talks with rural development and herself and some other folks in Helena, she's managed bring our rate down from 2.6% to 1.35, or 1.375%. We signed the papers, they were turned in today. Over 40 years, that's $1,020,000 in savings for the citizens of Choteau. That's huge. And that's because we're doing a good job out there, we're watching what we're doing, but she's administrating this loan and this project very, very well, and they recognize that, so we all owe her a huge thank you. I don't have much other from myself. Stuart?
I don't have anything.
Dan?
No, I'm going to the city, League of Cities and Towns, it was over this week, so maybe I'll tell you next meeting, might learn something.
You will. Jill?
I just have a question, like, somebody commented to me on the recycling that it was really overloaded. Are they
Yeah,
still
I got
coming?
kinda messed up. We got it straightened out today.
Oh, okay.
It's all emptied out.
Good deal. So they're still
I don't-
coming?
Go ahead. Well, I think something, I don't know what happened. Like, oh, I don't know whether it was a business or whether somebody moved, emptied the garage, but I mean, it just overnight, we just got new bins in and they just went boom.
Wow.
And we're kinda on a schedule. I can call them and get them quicker, but
Right,
it just kinda blew the schedule.
yeah. Okay.
Rose? Okay, we've got a couple of zoning permits, Lyland Terry down there putting up a fence, and Legion Club is remodeling a bathroom. Other than that, it's been very quiet as far as building. Any public comment, Rich? Melody?
Sorry, I've been vacant.
Jim? Kevin?
If anybody, hasn't been in our neighborhood, Rich has a fabulous Halloween display.
He
up
does have.
already.
I'm here this year, yeah, last year I was back in Ohio, so a lot of
You
people
went
missed
up
it
for
last year. My granddaughters helped me start it last Friday, and that was tough. Put it here, Papa. No, I want it over here now.
I like the man crawling out of the ground.
I drove around and saw it, I thought it was pretty doggone good.
Yeah.
It's not done yet, I've got to
I would
find
encourage
everything.
somebody else in town to see if they could match it.
Yeah, and it was, I put it up kinda early, but like I
It's
said,
all right.
because of
Give people time
grandkids.
to try to get as good as you are.
Yeah,
Thanks for doing it. Cool.
thank you.
Oh, yeah.
I move we adjourn.
Okay, moved by Stuart,
Second.
seconded by Dan. All those in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned, 7:34.
I'm like, we can all, I don't want to say this, okay?
Thanks, Rich.
Thank you.
What's that?